Welcome, everybody, to another session of This, That, and the Other. We are joined today by Rwmcdonald31. The gentleman has been on Gridiron Dynasty since January of '05, has a 766 winning percentage, having won 1,999 games. 48 of those were conference championships and 15 national championships. Richard, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you know how this works, so we're going to start off with who you are, where you're from, family situation, all that kind of good stuff.
Great. My name is Richard. I currently live in Greenville, South Carolina. I have been married for 24 years. I have 3 daughters who are 18, 13, and 3. And I work as a human resources manager in a manufacturing facility here in Greenville.
So the next question I have then is the ID that you use, is that because of your name or how did you come up with that?
It's nothing exciting. It's just because of my email address.
Okay.
When I joined GD back in 2005, I was a novice of all novices, that's for sure.
Well, we'll go ahead and get started then with the first question, and it is, what recruiting location, we're talking geographically now, do you find the most difficult?
I was just recently in Rockne, and I had Miami of Florida, and I found that to be a pretty difficult location to recruit from down in South Florida. Your 180 is basically you're at the mercy of the recruit simulation there, and you're venturing into North Florida where you got Gainesville, and then as you go even further north, you got Florida State. And if you try to get any north of that, of course you got Atlanta right up there, so University of Georgia's right around there. So just a tough, in my opinion, a pretty tough area being isolated so down south.
You mentioned the recruiting sim and being at its mercy. There are times when Miami can be a hotbed of recruits. But when it's not there, like you said, you're having to travel and spend all that money. Have you had an opportunity to have that hotbed of recruits in that location?
You know, during my stint, and I just finished up in Miami, and I really didn't have a ton of recruits all at once. I definitely hit some good recruits out of there. But I think a couple seasons ago, I wound up going to Hawaii to get a quarterback, 4,700 miles away. So
wow.
It was quite the interesting adventure there in the recruiting world.
Well, this first session or segment appears to be centered on recruiting. The next question is, if you're planning to be at a school for an extended period, do you change your formations based on the recruit availability in that area?
I do not. I stick with the same formation, and so if I have to have a couple of tough seasons, kind of making everyone switch from where they were at, I will do that because I'm a big believer in the formations that I use. And I believe that they're most effective because I have always kept to them and stayed committed to them.
Now, this is an honesty check. Do you get up in the middle of the night to check on your recruiting?
Absolutely. All the time.
That's something that I find myself doing. So that's going to wrap it up for this segment of This, That, and the Other. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Now, lots of people, that sound says it's morning again with a good day ahead. But, of course, that doesn't mean every morning. For now and then, most all of us wake up feeling dull and logy because we need a laxative. And that's when another sound is so welcome. Yes, that's the sparkling sound of Sal Hepatica in a glass of water. Sal Hepatica. Unlike slow-acting laxatives, a sparkling glass of Sal Hepatica, when you get up, brings quick, gentle relief, usually within an hour. That means you don't have to feel dull and logy all day, waiting until night to take the laxative you needed in the morning.
And if at the same time you're troubled with excess gastric acidity, Sal Hepatica helps sweeten your stomach.
So keep a bottle of Sal Hepatica handy. Then anytime you need a laxative,
Morning, noon, or night.
see how much faster you feel better thanks to gentle, speedy Sal Hepatica.
Men. All medication is not created equal. Meds 311 is your source for genuine Viagra, Levitra, and Cialis, shipped discreetly to your home or office without an embarrassing doctor visit. Don't waste your hard-earned money on inferior products. Why settle for less when the real thing is just a phone call away? Meds 311 takes the headache out of getting the medication you want. We handle everything, including the doctor, prescription, pharmacy, and shipping. Ordering couldn't be easier. All you have to do is call. When it comes to your performance, be the best you can be. The best you can be. Representatives are standing by now. Call 800-591-1934. Again, that's 800-591-1934. Or visit us online at meds311.com. Meds 311 gives you the power to choose. Call now, 800-591-1934. That's 800-591-1934. Call now.
And welcome back. We're with Richard today, joining us for episode 11, and we're starting his second segment. What qualities do you look for in a pass coverage linebacker?
Athleticism and speed are really two major ones that I look at, and even elusiveness I found to be really good. I know that may be a little bit different from some other different coaches. They may look for game instinct and technique, and while I still think those are really important, I think that there's a ton to say about a speedy linebacker. I'm very turned off by the linebacker with the speed in the 50 to 60 range. Even in the early 60 range, I'm just not real excited about them.
What about hands? How does that play into your linebacker for pass coverage, interception ability?
I think it depends on if you're going to be blitzing your linebackers a lot, then obviously hands to me go down in value a little bit. But if you're going to be more coverage linebackers, obviously that's going to be a more important tool.
Perfect segue. The next question is, what are your thoughts on blitzing? Who, when, etc.?
I like to mix it up a little bit in the blitzing department. I actually tried a couple of seasons ago and experimented with blitzing right on first down, and I actually noticed an uptick, not a major uptick, but a little bit of an uptick in my linebacker sacks.
Do you use the expanded play-by-play info to make second-half adjustments? What do you look for if you do?
I do. I obviously look for if they're passing short, if they're passing obviously to the running back a lot. And then I'll make adjustments according to that, and also look for if they're making long completions. Obviously, looking at the running game, and I'll make adjustments accordingly based on what I see. So yes, I do look at that depending on the situation.
We've been talking about defense, and the final question in this segment is, what's your preferred offense?
My preferred offense is definitely the pro.
And why is that? What flexibility do you get from the pro?
I think the best flexibility that I have is my ability to use my running backs as receivers. Obviously interchange the wide receivers if I'm deep in my wide receiver set. And also you have the option of switching it up and going to the tight end.
That's going to do it for segment number 2. We'll be right back after this.
Say, Dad, I have an upset stomach.
I've got just the thing. Dr. Whitaker's Larded Atoms. Dr. Whitaker's Larded Atoms combine the smooth, pleasing flavor of lard with the soothing qualities brought to us through science.
It smells funny.
That's our special ingredient, uranium, the scent of the powerful atom. It's strong, but that's how you know it's working. Feeling better yet, sweetheart?
Sure am. Thanks, Dad.
Don't thank me. Thank science.
Dr. Whitaker's Larded Atoms in 5 or 10-ounce bottles at your local grocer.
Are plain old knock-knock jokes just not funny anymore? Is the classic, why'd the chicken cross the road, not getting laughs like it used to? If so, try puns. puns come in all types, such as, what do you call an alligator in a vest? An investigator. Or, if a friend starts telling bird jokes, remind him, toucan, play at that game. So try puns.
Side effects may include groaning, your friends getting annoyed, wanting to make more puns, making puns in random conversation, forgetting other kinds of jokes existed, and people judging you. Ask your common sense before trying puns. If the situation does not call for them, it may result in many disgusted looks.
If you're in need of a new kind of joke, try puns. They may be cheesy, but the results are great.
Welcome back. This is Magic, and you're listening to This, That, and the Other, and we're asking Richard some questions today about his experience in Gridiron Dynasty. Here's the next question, the first of the third segment. If you had to drop all your teams but one, which one would you keep and why? And before you answer that, let me just say that currently you have USC and Rockney and Penn State in camp. So those are the only two that you've got active under this particular ID. So that's going to be a tough choice.
And, you know, it is a tough choice because I just got USC, and my dream schools have always been Penn State, USC, and Texas. And so it has been I'm so excited to have USC, so it's really, really hard. But I have to say, being at Penn State is the absolute best. I really enjoy being there. The recruiting is ideal. Obviously, Ohio State is my next door neighbor, so that makes it a little interesting. I have gotten my head absolutely handed to me when I've tried to go in to Boston College territory about 300 miles away and tried to take a recruit. It doesn't work out always, but I would have to say Penn State. I would stick with Penn State. I would leave Penn State for Texas, but I don't think that JJ is going to be leaving Texas anytime soon.
I hear you. That's
Yeah.
kind of a stronghold. When you get it, you just don't give it up.
Yeah.
What do you think the biggest mistake is made by new coaches?
The biggest mistake absolutely that I see, and I see this in new coaches, I see this in current coaches. I've experienced this recently at Penn State. I've had a school that's pretty close to Penn State, and they recruit tons, and they're spending a lot of money on lots of recruits. So they only have like 10 scholarships, but they're spending money on 20 of them, and they're spending lots of money. And I've just seen that recently quite a bit over the last few seasons, and it just absolutely baffles me. And it's to my advantage, obviously, but at the same time, it's to me, I think that's the biggest mistake in recruiting that new coaches and some established coaches still make.
And, I think one of the biggest ones is that they don't read the forums. There's so much information there, and it's a golden opportunity to ask a question and get an answer. Granted, you're going to get some answers that come from left field, but for the most part, there's a lot of help there. How often do you read the forums?
I try to read the forums pretty much as much as I can. My strategy with the forums is in between that downtime, especially that long downtime that you have in between seasons. I try to brush up on all of the great coaches that are on the forums. I mean, there's some really, really quality coaches out there, and they post golden stuff from anywhere from recruiting to game planning. I mean, formation IQs, practice plans, depth charts, scheduling. Those are all the things that I see and there's just a mountain of knowledge that can be gained.
So all you new coaches out there, that's a clear sign right there. Go to the forums, get your information, don't hesitate to ask questions. Your last question, if you will, is what numbers is the next guest going to be assigned? We need 10 of them, Richard. What are they?
So let's go 21, 6, 16, 20, 35, 47, 8, 11, 30, and 13.
All right, that's going to do it. Richard, we appreciate you stopping in, visiting with us today, and sharing your knowledge. And parting words, this is your opportunity.
I think that the best thing about Gridiron Dynasty is just that it really, really gives you a break from kind of the craziness of life, especially right now. The parting words that I would say is a shout out to my mentor, which is Ben McBethper. He absolutely 100% helped me. I was going through some pretty serious health issues a while back, and he jumped in there with me and really helped me get my mind off of it and helped me learn about game planning, a little bit better about recruiting. And so a big shout out to him, to Ben. He's a great mentor and an incredibly great coach.
And we're hoping to get him on one of these days soon. So, Richard, again, thanks so much for joining us today. And to our listening audience, this is This, That, and the Other. Come back for the next episode. Thank you very much.